Hello, hello, hello. It's game week. What's up, Miami Hurricane fans? I got my piece of paper, got my notes. How we feeling? How we feeling, Canes fans? I don't want to say it's time to vent on this show because it's not time to vent. We don't need to vent on this show. We do not need to vent. But I will say the rankings came out, and a lot of people not happy about the rankings. A lot of people not happy about it. Miami came in at number 18. Notre Dame came in at number 10. And a lot of people are upset about that. And let me tell you something. I was not. And I know I've seen all the discussions. Head to head, we beat them. Blah, 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 this. Blah, 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 that. Marcus Yo Freeman need to make an appearance. You need I just want to say, Notre Dame, we're playing good. Won 6 games in a row. We beat these teams. I know they have a 30% winning record. Like, out of all the teams we play, they pretty much only won 30% of the game, but we're on a roll. We're playing consistent. Miami's not playing consistent. Oh, we so good. Notre Dame is back. We so back. We are so back on Notre Dame. So back. Anyway. Oh, we got, what up? To be fair, we should have won out, and thank you. And that's my whole point right there. That's my whole point. We should have won out. I mean, we losing to teams like SMU. Dominated the game, had the ball for more than a quarter. Literally, we had the ball one more quarter than Notre Dame. We beat them by 15 minutes in time of possession. We are the national champions of time of possession. We won the natty. We win the natty in time of possession. We win the natty. But we dominated that game. Dominated that game. Just didn't make the plays when they needed to make it. But that's what we're used to. And having better athletes, having better recruiting classes, and losing. Now, this isn't going to be a slam on Miami the whole podcast. We already did that. And I know, as a Miami fan, a diehard Miami fan, like literally, when they lose, I hurt, and I've been hurting a lot for the last 24 years. I've been hurting a lot. And it's a thing where it's tough. It is tough. But let's be honest. We're not supposed to be in this position, are we? We are not supposed to be in this position. Going to go through your comments. This is live, so please leave your comments. Mario is supposed to be an O-line guy. Let's have a game where he doesn't false starts holding calls. That is so true. The tough thing about hearing Mario talk, and I think, look, I don't think we should fire Mario. Dawson is questionable. I don't know how much. Look, I know Mario is pound. And we've talked about that on this podcast for the last month. That helps other teams out. If you play time of possession, you better score. Because if you keep the ball for 8 minutes and don't score, and the other team keeps the ball for 30 seconds and does score, now you're in trouble. And here's the thing, and this is the last thing I'm going to say. Miami seems to be a team that plays, you know how most teams play to people's weaknesses? Miami tends to play to people's strength. You're playing a defense that has a terrible secondary, second from last in all of college football. And you're not stretching the field the whole game. You shell up. Well, it's because they're playing over the top. Well, record shows them playing over the top doesn't mean anything because they're horrible. They're horrible. So I don't care if they're playing over the top. Challenge it. Challenge it. Maybe this one game, Most games, not a good idea. But you ever play Mike Tyson Punch Out? And nobody ever lost to Glass Joe. I don't think anybody ever lost to Glass Joe. Miami was Mike Tyson. Their secondary was Glass Joe. He looks like a boxer. He acts like a boxer, but you hit him enough times, he falls. You don't even have to hit him a lot of times. Hit him 2 or 3 times, they out. They out. So we don't challenge people like that. Well, Michael, I hear this argument. Well, if Notre Dame played on a neutral field, would they beat Miami today? No, they wouldn't. And I think Notre Dame should be in front of Miami. Now, if you're a Notre Dame fan watching this, I think y'all should be in front of Miami, but make no mistake, if we played again, y'all would lose again. Because the teams we lose to have finesse. Any team, I don't care if it's Georgia, and I've said this, I've been consistent on this podcast and said, I don't care if it's Georgia, I don't care if it's Notre Dame, I don't care if it's Ohio State. If you're going to play man up ball with us, like your bigs against our bigs, we will win that game. That's what everybody tries to do. At the beginning of the season, they tried that. They couldn't win. Now they're like, oh, let's get the ball out in 1 second. These others, the SEC, they're too prideful to do that. You think they're going to try to play a quick game against Miami? No, they got the Mario attitude. Oh, we're going to show you what SEC does. And that's what the first 5 teams tried to do. Oh, we're going to show you we can run against y'all. We're going to show you our bigs. That does not work against Miami. What works against Miami is the only SEC school I think would give Miami more trouble. This is crazy. I think Lane Kiffin, because he's such a genius and on the offensive side, would give Miami way more problems than Georgia, would give way more problems than Alabama and Ohio State. I think if Miami played all 4 of those schools, if Miami were to lose, I think Ole Miss would beat Miami worse than all 3 of those schools. Because those other schools would be like, we're going to show you our bigs are better than your bigs. And that's where you lose to Miami. The teams that beat Miami is like, we're not going to even play that game. Jeff Brown was like, I'm going to make all new plays. Miami is that we can't win like that. We're going to make all new plays. And if you're a school that thinks you can line up against Miami, and I know they lost to SMU. I know they lost to Louisville. But those teams didn't play Miami like these other teams will play Miami. I honestly believe that if you play Miami straight up, you will lose. Yes. I think the OBB crew made that up. Gap Life, Gap for Life, A Gap for Life. They got shirts. Make sure you get them. Roman is a beast in his breakdowns, man. I got to get Roman on this show. If anybody knows Roman, let me know. Because I would love to get him on the show. He's just so knowledgeable. Yes, Mike Tyson punch out. Yes, like I said, we Mike Tyson, and the secondary at SMU was Glass Joe, and we didn't challenge him. We let that secondary knock us out, and they were Glass Joe. All right, let's talk about Notre Dame being 18. I mean, Miami being 18, Notre Dame being 10. I said it before, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I do think if they played on a neutral field, Miami would do the same thing. I think Notre Dame, yes, we've regressed, but we still got the same dudes against their dudes. And we saw when you play man up, it's not even close, right? The game, they say Notre Dame only lost. It wasn't that close. Let's be honest. Miami did the same stupid stuff. They let teams back in it, but I believe it was like 21-10 or 20. I can't even remember, but it wasn't even close. And then they let them score a couple touchdowns at the end. They tied the game and all that stuff, but Miami had complete control, and I never thought they were going to lose that game. So everybody's talking about if Miami wins 4 games, and they're 10-2. Notre Dame is 10-2. See, what you got to understand is a lot of people getting mad at this dude that says consistency, and then they're breaking down the rules and it says head to head. Well, it's going to be a problem. If Miami rolls, and that's a big if, let's be honest. And I have questions about Notre Dame winning their next 4 games. I don't know if they're going to beat Pitt. I don't know if they're going to beat Pitt. So let's worry about that when we get there. But I will say this: if Miami wins their last 4 games convincingly, and Notre Dame wins their last 4 games, Miami will get in over Notre Dame. I know it seems like they won't, but what argument does Notre Dame have? Right now, they got a great argument. Miami's lost 2 out of 3 games. A month is a long time in college football. A long time in college football. But what argument will they have? Well, they didn't even win their conference. You're not in a conference, Notre Dame. What are you talking about? Well, we 10-2. Yeah, but they beat you. Well, that's what's going to happen. That's why I'm not even worried about it. I say I'm not even worried about it because I know a lot of people think college football is rigged. And a lot of people are saying, well, they're going by eye test instead of the number test. But guess what? That's what college football is until the end. Like, we all know Miami shouldn't have made the playoffs last year. Yeah, we can argue about it and say no, we all know they didn't have a defense to be in that. They would be embarrassed in that college football playoff last year. If Miami got in this year, I think our defense is good enough to hold up against anybody. So everybody's worried about now. And there's still a month left in college football. Do not worry about now. Do not worry about now. In 4 weeks, if both teams are 10-2, Notre Dame doesn't get in. Or if they do get in, Miami gets in too. Mark my word. They will not leave out Miami 10-2 that beat Notre Dame because they can't justify that. They can justify the ranking right now. They can justify it because Miami's lost 2 out of the last 3 games. But if they both wind up 10-2, and I don't care, it's just a bunch of noise. It's just a bunch of clickbait. There's no argument you can win comparing Notre Dame's schedule against Miami's schedule. There's none. Not at all. Miami's played a lot better schedule. The winning percentages of the teams they beat are way better than Notre Dame. They didn't go to a conference championship. Well, Notre Dame's not in a conference. So that argument is gone. So don't worry about it. If Miami rolls, which is a big if Miami rolls in the next 4 games, they will, mark my words, write it down, freaking yell it out your window right now while you're driving down the freeway in Miami on that 305. Is that the freeway? 95, 395, 195, and 95. Okay, that's right. I haven't lived there in a while. But mark my words, there is no way college football can justify that because with all the betting scandals going on, with all the rigging going on, and if a committee looks at this 10-2 versus that 10-2, and the first thing on their little rule sheet is head-to-head, they ain't gonna do that. It's too much conspiracy. There's too much garbage. There's too much betting. There's too much investigations going on for them to try to justify that when the winning percentages of the teams Miami played are better, when they won head-to-head, and they're both 10-2. So don't worry about it. Now, Syracuse. Oh, what? No, it's really not a lot of what ifs. I know you see a lot of what ifs. People like to write all these scenarios. That don't even matter. Miami's 10-2. And what I'm saying, don't mistake my words. All I'm looking at is one team. If Notre Dame is in the position, this is my one if. You'll see lists of ifs all over the place. This is the only if you need to know. If Notre Dame is 10-2 and in a position in that 13th in that 12th or 11th spot, and Miami is 10-2, Miami will get in over Notre Dame. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Everybody can win. Everybody can do their thing. I'm not even worried about everybody else. Like, a lot of people like to write a bunch of stuff just to get you to read it. That's all it comes down to. If Notre Dame is 10-2 and they're sitting at number 12 or 11, Miami gets in over Notre Dame. There's no way to justify that. You're like, but there's conspiracy. They can't. They can't. Well, yeah, they can't. They won't. They won't. There's no legs they can stand on that. They can talk about consistency. Well, Miami won the last 4 games. That's consistent. And that's the if. If Miami wins the next 4 games and Notre Dame is in a position to be in the playoffs, if they're sitting at 12 or 11 or whatever they're sitting, Miami will get in over them. Because the conference, these college football, whoever they are, they don't have a leg to stand up. Because if you win, the big if they win the next 4 games, that's consistent. You had a month of consistent football. They'll come. No, they won't. They won't. Trust me. You already heard them other night say great victory for Texas A&M beating ND, but they said when ND lost to Miami, they were breaking. It don't matter. It don't matter. Don't matter. Don't matter. They can say what they want to say right now. And at the beginning, a month ago, Texas was dead in the water. Now, Texas is a good football team. Notre Dame is a great football team that was barely beating a 1-7 BC team at halftime. But they can use all those excuses right now because Miami has lost the last 2 out of 3 games. Just remember that. So that's why I'm not stressed about it. If Notre Dame is in a position to be in the playoffs, Miami will get in over them. Now, Syracuse. Hold on. Finally caught you. What's up? Miami 9, Syracuse 10. Hey, man. We don't know. It's crazy. So I'm going to say this. This is the only thing, because I don't really care about the Syracuse game. They may start a guy that's really never played. They got backup quarterbacks. Look, if Miami don't come out and win this by 21, 28 points, I think, what is the line? 28 points? Miami don't crush this team. I mean, God forbid Miami lose this game, which I don't think they will. God forbid. But if Miami doesn't win this game by 28, 30 points, if Miami doesn't open it up, like, let me tell you, if Miami wins by 14 points, like I said before, against SMU, and it's over. Because that's not going to be impressive. So the benefit is they got to look good now. So they got to put up points. So hopefully they'll change their attitude. And hopefully Dawson stop thinking he's God and he knows football. And like, okay, let's open it up. Let's play ball. We got 4 games left. Why not? Let's just go for it. Hopefully that's the attitude. Play free, play fun, just like at the beginning of the year. There are a lot of things we could go into. Mario grinding down the team, the November slump, whatever. I don't care about all that. I do not care about all that. That's just noise to me. That's just noise. The fact is, Miami wins the next 4 games impressively, we'll be in the playoffs. And if they do that, even if they don't make the playoffs, which they will, we will be a lot happier as a fan base. And if they go to a bowl game and win that, and they're 11-2, we'll be very, very happy as a fan base. I know we're bummed right now because you're hearing all the negative spin, but Miami has to win these next 4 games. And I don't care what Mario says at his press conference like today. Got to get back to the basics. Yeah, we're tired of that. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And all these people with websites that don't ever talk bad about Mario, it's like, come on, man. You're fraud. You're fraudulent. You're fraud. How can people trust you if you got Mario's back on everything? And now those websites are trying to throw Shannon under the bus as if Mario doesn't have any input in the offense. Pound, pound, pound. Guess what? You can't do that. I wish I could be completely honest with you, but I can't about our running backs because I would catch a lot of heat for it. And I've said it in our past podcasts. And I'm going to just give you a little, our running backs, and I've been saying this, they're not elite. And you can tell when they're missing holes. I think Marty Brown is a better running back than Mark Fletcher. I know that's controversial, and Mark Fletcher gives his all to the school. And I'm not disrespecting him, but those are one-dimensional backs. People say, well, why'd you like A.J. Allen? Because at least he couldn't block, but at least when he ran the ball, he was explosive. He could find holes, and if he got through a hole, and he had great vision. Fletcher doesn't have great vision. That's been proven over and over. Lyle is not good on the inside. You need a back. Look, I know Jeremiah Love, but we've never in a while had a back that had vision, speed, and power. We have power. Marty Brown, and who knows, Marty Brown may be that dude, even though he missed a hole that should have been a touchdown. But he's not getting enough burn. I think you will see a better run game with Marty Brown this week if Mark Fletcher doesn't play. And I hate to say that because Mark Fletcher gives his all, and he's been through a lot with Miami. But we do, and I'm not saying Marty Brown's elite. As of now, we don't have an elite back. And I think that's why Cooper was so important. He's not coming here, but we've always been missing an elite back since maybe Duke Johnson. Elite back that finds holes with that offensive line. Like, we blame the offensive line. Yes, they jump offside, but a lot of times there's holes and our backs completely whip. There's at least 2-3 times every game where they just miss. Normal elite running backs or even great running backs will get it. Our dudes get the ball, run straight up the middle. It's almost like the problem we had with punt returns and kickoffs last year. You remember they would catch it and just run straight into the back of people. That's what our running backs do. It's almost like they close their eyes when they get the ball and just run straight. You know? And I hate to say that because Mark Fletcher's a great guy. You know, Marty Brown's a great guy. But they're not elite. You know? We found out Damian Martinez, that was elite for us last year, a great runner, was not good enough for the NFL. That's what standard I'm using. As of now, and I'm not saying they can't be elite. I'm saying as of now, the way they run is not elite at all. And that's the problem. That's the major problem with pound, pound, pound. It looks good when you can make big holes for running backs that have no vision. But when they gotta have vision, that's the problem with Miami's run game. Yes, they run the same play up the middle, but even in the ones that were 4th and 1, you saw they were running to the wrong side. There'd be 7 men over there, 3 men over here, and let's run to the 7. Because that's what, let me tell you something, that's what Shannon Dawson really wanted to say. You remember the last press conference, he says, we give it, most plays are A and B gap, but it's up to the running back. Basically, he didn't want to say our running backs don't have great vision. Because, yeah, every play starts up the middle, but they can go anywhere they want. He just didn't want to say the soft-spoken thing out loud. We don't have running backs with great vision. And I'm not saying that as a critic. I'm saying it as watching the games every single week. Every single week, backs miss holes. Lyle's great. Pringle's great on the outside, but they can't run inside right now. All right. I got to go. I got a show in La Jolla. Yeah. I'm going to be there all weekend long. If you're in La Jolla, come on by. I'll be at the La Jolla Comedy Club, which I'm very excited about. So, hey, man. Oh, let me give you my score. Miami. The only reason I'm saying this, and I'm saying it half-heartedly, is because I don't think they'll lose. I will say that. I can see them winning by 14, and I can see them winning by 35. So what I'm going to say is Miami by 21, 28 points. I'm going to say 42-17. What is that? 42, that's 25 points, right? 42-17. And if they're not impressive, that means they didn't make the corrections they should make when the whole world knows it. And that's a bigger issue. If they don't open it up, if they don't have fun, if they don't play hard, then that's a bigger problem. And we shouldn't even care about the playoffs. All right. Love you guys. See you next time. Oh, wait, we got some final comments coming in. Hold on. Come on now. Yeah, man. I'm talking that good talk, Lenoris Murray. All right. I'll see you next time. Later.